These kids are in need. They're not having an easy go. The reason that more people don't give is because of this guy. He starts telling you some information for 15 cents. 15 little pennies. You can change one of these children's life. Is take those little kids and put them in other stuff. They need to like CGI those kids into other shows that you're trying to watch. Yeah, while you're watching like A Will and Grace, that little kid, the voodoo, needs to just walk in the frame with a sign that says, "Remember me?"
This is the story of your enslavement. How it came to be, and how you can finally be free.
Where they have failed, you will succeed.
Human behavior, that's what I like. Humans do some really interesting things. Like, besides killing ourselves, we also kill each other.
Every single man or woman who has stood their ground, and everyone who has fought an agent has died. But where they have failed, you will succeed. One. I've seen an agent punch through a concrete wall. Men have emptied entire clips at them and hit nothing but air. Yet their strength and their speed are still based in a world that is built on the rules. Because of that, they will never be as strong or as fast as you can.
It's the corporatocracy. It's the people that run our big corporations. And so we'll be talking a little bit about that tonight, to really try to get at the heart of the problem. I'm not trying to forgive George Bush. I mean, I'm as upset as anybody is at what's going on today in this country. But to just think that will do away with the problem by voting in somebody else isn't going to solve the problem. We've got to go deeper than that. And tonight, we're going to do that. I have a very strong conviction that when we leave here tonight, all of us, together we will be determined, you and I, to go out and do the right thing. And it's the pragmatic thing. It's the rational thing, and it's the patriotic thing. And we're going to turn this country around. We're going to turn the world around in that process. And we're going to create a world that my 24-year-old daughter and her children will be very happy to inherit. And that means that every child growing up today and in the future in Nigeria and in Indonesia and in the Philippines and in Iraq and in Bolivia and Ecuador and Mexico also will be happy about what's going to happen here tonight.
I'm Severin Suzuki, speaking for ECHO, the Environmental Children's Organization. We're a group of 12 and 13-year-olds trying to make a difference. We've raised all the money to come here ourselves, to come 5,000 miles to tell you adults you must change your ways. Coming up here today, I have no hidden agenda. I am fighting for my future. Losing my future is not like losing an election or a few points on the stock market. I am here to speak for all generations to come. I am here to speak on behalf of the starving children around the world whose cries go unheard. I am here to speak for the countless animals dying across this planet because they have nowhere left to go. I am afraid to go out in the sun now because of the holes in our ozone. I am afraid to breathe the air because I don't know what chemicals are in it.
Growing up in New York City, I refused to pledge allegiance to the flag. Of course, I was sent to the principal's office, and he asked me, "Why don't you want to pledge allegiance? Everybody does." I said, "Everybody once believed the earth was flat, but that doesn't make it so." I explained that America owed everything it has to other cultures and other nations, and that I would rather pledge allegiance to the earth and everyone on it. Needless to say, it wasn't long before I left school entirely, and I set up a lab in my bedroom. There I began to learn about science and nature. I realized then that the universe is governed by laws, and that the human being, along with society itself, was not exempt from these laws. Then came the crash of 1929, which began what we now call the Great Depression. I found it difficult to understand why millions were out of work, homeless, starving, while all the factories were sitting there. The resources were unchanged. It was then that I realized that the rules of the economic game were inherently invalid. Shortly after came World War II, where various nations took turns systematically destroying each other. I later calculated that all the destruction and wasted resources spent on that war could have easily provided for every human need on the planet. Since that time, I have watched humanity set the stage for its own extinction. I have watched as the precious finite resources are perpetually wasted and destroyed in the name of profit and free markets. I have watched the social values of society be reduced into a base artificiality of materialism and mindless consumption. And I have watched as the monetary powers control the political structure of supposedly free societies. I'm 94 years old now, and I'm afraid my disposition is the same as it was 75 years ago. This shit's got to go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unveiling the Truth. This is the episode for November 30th, 2013. I'm here with David Sylvestre, who's the guest today for today's show. And it's a little bit different today. Instead of in the broadcasting office downstairs that I have set up, we decided to do it up here. He came over here. He lives in my community. We've known each other for quite a few years now, well, a few years anyways, and so we just thought it would be a little bit more close and personal, intimate, I guess you could say, being here together to discuss things on the show for today's episode of Unveiling the Truth. I guess I'll get right to the point. We just seen a video from the World Public Union, which was a group that was started here in Sudbury. And actually, that's how I met David. I was doing documentary work, and I came up with the idea for the World Public Union, and the roommates I had at the time, Dave and Barb, helped me get it on Facebook and build everything up. And then we met Dave shortly after that, and we had a meeting with him, and we decided to start holding public meetings open to the public that were World Public Union meetings. So basically, we would meet at a coffee shop or the park, wherever we could, and just meet up with whoever wanted to come and talk about important issues and try to help out around the community, which really got a lot of people in Sudbury together and meeting each other, which is really, really awesome. And I have to say that David here has influenced a lot of the way I think, and he's identified a lot of the problems for me. He really, I guess you could say, was one of the people that helped wake me up. Back in the day, like I was already learning about all sorts of things, but he kind of took it on a personal level because I knew him and I was able to talk to him, and it was really he really opened my eyes to a lot of reality, I guess you could say. So it's great to have you on the show today, David, and I really want to thank you for being here today and taking the time to do the interview. So I guess if you could introduce yourself to the viewers, for anybody who's not familiar with who you are.
Yeah, my name is David Sylvestre, and I'm a social activist, and I don't even think of myself as a social activist. I really think of myself as somebody who's trying to create a better world, and that's all it is I have these intentions to create a better world for me and for everybody. And I also want to thank Mark too, because I mean, this guy is a real freaking hero to me. He's done so much and amazing things.
I could say the same. Well, you, indeed.
Yeah, and like truthfully, I see the heart. I do. I see it. I mean, what you do is amazing and incredible too. It doesn't matter if it looks hard. You do it anyway. Yeah. I mean, that's the best part about it, is not to give up ever. Never give up. And this is one of the things that I think a lot of people struggle with, because it looks like, we're so insignificant to the problems that we face. But in fact, we are the most significant thing to the problems that we face, So I have to thank you, Mark. I mean, you did some amazing things all summer.
It was really cool to meet you, like when we did meet, because I heard that you were a candidate for the Green Party here in Sudbury. You ran to be a member of Parliament for Sudbury for the Green Party, which is one of the minority political parties.
Yes.
It was a smaller one. And you weren't involved in that when I met you, but you were involved in social activism, like you said. You know about all the groups here in Sudbury. Like you introduced me to some really good people around here, like John Moore, I believe, the native guy who's
Justice
for John Moore. Yeah. There's a good campaign going for him because he's been treated very badly by local government, and he's even went to Ottawa to plead his case. So you've really opened my eyes to local issues, to a lot of the local problems that we're facing, and that was really cool on how I met you. Could you explain a bit about your involvement in that and politics and all that stuff?
Well, it started when I became aware myself of the basic problems that we face. I wasn't aware at a really in-depth level, but I was very aware of the very simple side of the things. For example, the unsustainability, the mathematical unsustainability of our economic system, and also how our economic system is actually destroying what sustains us, and claiming that it's prospering life at the same time it's doing this. So that doesn't work in my mind. I can't reconcile those two things.
Yeah.
So that was just basic math that got me off my ass. And then afterwards, I said, well, I got to do something about this, And so I thought, well, first thing I got to do is I'm going to find out if there's something going on in Sudbury, because I lived out in the country. And I found a group that was an anti-war group at the time, because we were in Afghanistan, and they were against the war in Afghanistan. Well, I'm against all war. There's no reasons for war, but there was somewhere to start. And that's where I met Gary Kingsman, who is a huge social activist here in Sudbury as well, and has done some amazing things.
Isn't he a professor at the university?
Yeah, he's a professor in sociology at Laurentian University here, and tons of other professors as well that I've met there that are quite amazing people, and they've taught me so much, and I'm so grateful. But the thing is that I didn't know what to do myself. I didn't know, so I went looking for some other people that maybe cared a little bit. So that's why I ended up involved with this group here, and at the same time, that involvement with the anti-war got me noticed by some people of the Green Party, and so they asked me if I would run for provincial office here against Rick Bartolucci and Dave Battano from the NDP and Louis Delanchon from the Conservatives and stuff. And by the way, my politics is not the answer. But what it did do
so
is.
you've since renounced politics altogether?
Oh no, not like you can't renounce politics. It's here. We have to face it. But the fact of the matter is that I know that there are no solutions to be found in politics, because politics is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. So, but that's what we have, and that's what everybody supports and adopts and thinks that this is the only thing we can do.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing better we can do. This is the best we can do. That's why it's maintained. But there is a whole lot of other things that we could do that would be a whole lot better. However, you have to get in and at least change the conversation a little bit, to direct it so that there's an intention to do this, to make it better. Mm-hmm. Right now, there's no intention in the politics that we see to change anything that will make any difference.
Yeah, it's like March Against Monsanto. We were both involved in that locally here. And that's the only protest in human history that was against one single company. The largest protest in human history ever, in the history of this planet, against one company. And that did nothing.
And it won't.
Monsanto's still there. They're still, they still have members in government.
And there's very good reasons for that. It's because that's what the intention is for a corporation, is to survive at all costs, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so Monsanto is a very successful corporation. So we are protesting a successful corporation, which is harming us.
Not so much what it's doing to us, but more against. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So you see, it's the corporate structure that produces this Monsanto, and others. It doesn't have to be Monsanto is just a corporation, but it's all corporations because of the rules under which they operate.
Yeah, and you were involved in you worked for a corporation essentially, and that's kind of like what you got into when you really started learning about the sick care system that we have.
Yeah.
And it's not a healthcare system; it's a sick care system where they profit off us being sick, not healthy.
Absolutely, and here's the key factor to note about all of this. Okay, is that it is built in to the system that we have, the economic system that we have. What's built in is the incentive to not find a cure. Mm-hmm. The incentive, because our economy needs growth to be successful. And you know what makes our economy grow? Problems. A problem, you get a reaction, and the solution's a payday. And this is a formula that it needs to be maintained. So we need more and more problems, and yes, that's what we get, more and more problems. It's because of the intention our system has and the incentive system that it gives the people that are within it.
Yeah, it's the
Okay?
incentives, yeah.
Yeah, they're backwards
Mhm.
to prospering life. They are all perfect if you want to destroy life. If you want to parasitize your planet and each other, there's no problem.
Mhm.
And I mean, I tell this all the time about the parasite thing. You know, if you had a tapeworm in your stomach, it would profit from you at your expense, and we call that a parasite. So here we are. The aim of the corporation is to profit at all
Yeah.
costs. So that means that that corporation's a parasite,
Feeding off
feeding
the
off of
populace.
feeding off of not only our energy but also the environmental health of our planet is being compromised severely by the virtue of that incentive alone.
Mhm.
That particular incentive, which is incredible that we accept this. You know, that I can't believe that. And I mean, I hear hundreds of other people on the internet too who know all this stuff just as well as I do. They can use different words probably, but I mean, we know this. Okay,
Yeah.
this is not an opinion unless you guys think mathematics is an opinion, because that's what we're talking about here. Is
Math,
that
yeah.
we're talking about something that's precise and knowable.
It's chaos mathematics.
Yes,
Essentially.
yeah.
And I was also going to ask you to explain, because you were telling me about the contract that you had to sign when you worked for this corporation. It was a pharmaceutical,
Yeah.
or I guess pharmaceutical supplier.
Yes,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
for
Yeah.
supplies, medical supplies.
All kinds, yes, including some drugs. But the thing is that you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement with almost every employer,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, so this is about the secretive nature of corporate structure. Okay, so you are not allowed to tell. Like if you're saying you sit on a board of directors for a for-profit corporation, you're not allowed to discuss what goes on in those board of directors meetings.
Mhm.
Not at all.
And they'll make you sign the waiver form.
Yes, yes. So
to
you
not
can't
give out the
disclose.
secrets. Yeah.
You can't disclose how they arrived at directing their research and development departments to look for treatments, not cures. You know, I mean, they have no choice but to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have to direct the corporation to make as much money as possible for the shareholders. And the sale of a cure, a one-time event, just doesn't do it compared to treatment, which is ongoing and makes thousands of times more money.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's sickening.
Yeah,
Profiting off.
Absolutely, off
our
our
sickness.
illness and suffering. And that's what happens. And that's what our system produces and generates. And that's what we have.
Yeah, and not only in the medical area, but all areas. Well, not all areas, but
Well, there's other areas
many
that,
areas.
yeah, there's other areas too. I mean, for example, you know, the planned obsolescence is really wasteful.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, it is. It's like a make work project. You know,
Yeah.
and we're not doing anything useful. I'd say like 95% of the jobs could be gone, right? If we were doing useful things, we'd need no more lawyers.
Yeah.
We'd need no more. Yeah, we could get away without a lot of you know, the structure that is make work project. So, but I mean, we'd have to learn to govern ourselves, and there's lots of
Self-governance.
self-governance. Is it? Yes, it's all about who, and it's about who we control, and we control nobody but ourselves. These are pretty key factors. You know, I wanted to talk about critical thinking and how to find a foundation in reality through different types of understandings, and how, you know, trying to hold two concepts opposing each other in your head at the same time, you know, such as, you know, supporting survival of the fittest while thinking that we should be taking care of the poor. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, these are kinds of like duality. That is a mental illness when you do that. That is a mental illness to have this and that, which are opposing each other, in the same space in your head.
Yeah.
It's the truth. It's the same space in your head. They just don't fit. So you have to actually come to what is known as a comprehension, or you have to come to a solid foundation, a meaning. And the meaning doesn't have to be right for everybody. It just has to be right for you.
Mhm.
And what I'm trying to say about that is you know, I would say to people, I would tell people what the purpose of life is, you know, and I know what it is. And they never ask me, when I do tell them, very few of them ask me, say, how do you know? And so, you know, what I do is I reinforce what I know by telling people how I know. So if I say to people, you know, the purpose of life is to grow, and here's how I know, is because when I observe all of life within creation, I see a pattern. And that is that everything that is alive grows until it stops, then it's waiting to die or it's dead. So I can only draw the logical conclusion from this observation that the intention that creation had for life was for it to grow.
Yeah.
All right. Now, that's pretty cool because, you see, we're fortunate enough that we have many abilities that we can grow versus, say, a tree. You know, a tree does a good job and all, but it doesn't have the same abilities or responsibilities that we have. The response to our abilities is what's important here.
Yeah.
So we can grow to know better. And then afterwards, we can grow to do better.
Mm.
And then we would grow to be better. And that's
and
a simple, yeah.
Common knowledge
Yeah.
for future
Yeah.
generations.
Yes.
It's like inheriting this wisdom,
Yes.
or even influence, inheriting the influence that we give upon them.
Yeah.
That'll really, it's like throwing a stone in a lake.
Oh,
it creates a ripple,
definitely.
and it hits all points of that lake. It
Yeah.
reaches the shoreline everywhere at some point.
Yeah, it's
And
unbelievable.
that's what we need to do is
Yeah.
through the actions we take.
And this is important to note, that what we do matters.
Mm-hmm.
It matters because we live in a universe with some matter in it. But it's also, it matters because we live in a causes do have their effects universe, which is a very cool concept for people to be able to grasp and hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that pretty much everything, but then afterwards, you can't get all nervous about understanding that everything you do matters and all the rest of this stuff. The best thing you can do is to raise your consciousness and direct your attention. You know, like that's the only things that, you know, we can do. But if we do it well, if we raise our awareness, our level of awareness and understanding of, you know, through some what I call foundational thinking, then we can grow. We can arrive at understandings and decisions amongst each other, you know, because if you know what the meaning of the words that you use mean to you, it doesn't matter really too much if it doesn't mean the same thing to everybody else. But it does matter when you're trying to arrive at an understanding with somebody. So that means that you got to calibrate your language. You've got to say, okay, well, what does that mean to you? So that you can, you know, understand what you're trying to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the saddest thing that I see in our society. Nobody's talking with each other. They're talking at each other, of course, but they're not talking with each other. So this is a very key thing for us to be aware of, is that when you don't understand what somebody's saying, just say so.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are ashamed to not know about something, and there is, I guess you could even say, in the truth movement, there is people out there that are very vindictive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're very out to get other people.
Yeah.
If you don't know about something, they're very rude about it. They call you sheep. They call you this. And then that makes somebody who's trying to access this vital, important information, it makes them draw back from that, or hate somebody or hate a certain group, and then it causes division and separation, and we can never get ahead with divided.
No.
We can't.
That's part of the political problem. You know, when party politics gets involved, it just serves to divide us at a time when we need to unite.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same example as what you're saying. And the religions divide us too, you know.
Yeah.
And one of the most key concepts that I come up with, as far as if you ever wanted to destroy humanity, the best way to destroy humanity is to have humanity believe it can't save itself.
And many do.
Oh, wow. And
The majority do.
Yeah, and they do it on many different levels. There's not always a belief religious level. There's also a belief insignificant level, meaning somebody, you know, believes that what they do doesn't matter because they don't matter. They're insignificant. So they don't understand their power, their place within, you know, the existence that they're in. They're, you know, part of the human family.
Yeah.
And so they don't know their place. They don't know because they feel they're not valuable. It's pretty weird, you know, but
and that's I think a lot of people are depressed too because of that,
Yeah.
because they do feel that they're hopeless, that they're not going to make a difference, that they're insignificant. When really, you're right though. And from birth, we are born. We've always made our own decisions. We've always made our own choices. You know, if you're going to go into a store when you're 8 years old and steal a chocolate bar and get caught for it, that was your choice to steal it, no matter what anybody says.
That's right.
When you're 4 years old, I mean, I have 2 children and they fight sometimes. Like they argue like any siblings do.
Yes.
And you know they've you know, slapped each other or yelled at each other. You know, been angry with each other,
Yeah.
and that's behavior that's it's common in everybody really. But it just goes to show, you know, that even the youngest of people go through this. It's not something that's isolated.
No, it isn't. It's right throughout the whole social strata, but it is built into, I think, like the totality of what we consume, you know, as individuals.
Yeah, Black Friday.
Yeah, like
just happened.
Yeah.
Consume.
Yes.
Obey, consume.
Isn't that something? And you know, I never used to look at it like that. So here's another thing too that I wanted to tell people is about how I was on the other side too. So I mean, in my vintage, you can tell I'm old enough to I should have known better for all my life. But you know, I was actually taught all the tools. I had all the information that I needed to come to the proper conclusions. But I never did. And the reason I didn't is because if I did, I wouldn't be getting along with
your boss.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't be getting along with what is wrong to get along. You know, I think that's wrong. But anyways, that was what I did to be able to get along. Yeah.
You were selling medical equipment, and you essentially had to sign a contract saying that, you know what I mean, you'd have to make the company as much money as possible.
Oh.
If you didn't, there was financial problems that you would receive. What were the repercussions to that?
Well, what they did, this was a very loose structure compared to the corporate structure within, but it was all to meet the goal of the main corporate structure, which was to make as much money as possible. No ethical concerns need to have applied. But they couldn't really prove that I wasn't doing that. You know, they couldn't come. I could help people and get away with it to a certain amount, and they wouldn't. You know, so I had leeway that because I was the main communicator with the customers and the people that, you know, that were purchasing. Like I had built my relationship on them on an individual basis, so they couldn't really, you know, interfere.
Yeah.
To so to speak. Anyways, that's all part of the. But the big thing that we realize that, you know, the muscle of society will come down on these people is if they did make decisions that say cured themselves out of business. You know, they can't do that. That's illegal to cure yourself out of business. Okay?
There wouldn't be pharmaceutical companies.
No, there wouldn't. And this is why we got to change those parts. Like when we start like baby, I call that a baby step. I mean, I really do. I call that a baby step, meaning take the profit out of harm and suffering, make it illegal. You know, not make it illegal not to.
Yeah.
Well, like that's
it's
kind
like
of
we were discussing too earlier when you came over here about the fluoride issue. I mentioned that what it's going to take to get rid of a local community's water supply. Like in Sudbury here, they had a budget meeting to determine whether or not they wanted to keep buying fluoride, because they have to buy it. The city has to buy the fluoride to have it imported and put into the water supply. And they discussed that. And there's a group in Sudbury here who was trying to get fluoride out of the water for years now. And more recently, I guess more people have become more vocal and approaching city council about it anyways. And they recently passed the budget bill, and guess what? Fluoride did not get removed. It's apparently, I heard that it's still in there in the budget, so we're going to keep getting fluoride in our drinking water. And I was saying that the only way that we're probably going to get rid of the fluoride from the water supply, and not only here but in every community, is if you start addressing the problem as it's a human rights violation. That they're poisoning you, they're giving you drugs in your water supply without your consent. That's an illegal criminal act. And once people start seeing it as that, rather than, oh, there's fluoride in the water, addressing it as this is a violation here, severe.
Yeah, whether you see it as a poison or not isn't relative. It's been deemed a drug Fluoride is a drug.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's classified as such. So that means that in our United Nations rights and freedoms of people of the world, so to speak, where it is illegal to mass medicate a population with a drug, without their
Mm-hmm.
because it's not consensual.
Yeah.
And it's a drug, and you have to consent to take the drugs. So that's
And
why,
it's against our consent, and that's something that a really strong
That's
argument
right.
I think that people could take locally to their city council if they're trying to get rid of fluoride.
Well, we can actually sue. We can actually file lawsuits, against the city, and we can do it
It should be
individually.
done everywhere.
All of us can do it. Like we just build a template, get a template of this, and
Maybe something for the World
to
Public
be able
Community
to
Project.
to be able to file, to be able to go and file these documents in court,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be a lawsuit, for harm done against the individual,
Absolutely.
especially if you could have something called fluorosis.
Test, yeah.
If it can be proven that you made ill by overdosing on fluoride, you could get some money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's if you get the fluorosis stains on your teeth and all that kind of stuff, that's evidence right there.
Yes.
So you could probably get away with that, especially in a court of law.
And the dentist can't do anything about that. I mean, they can't fix that. The dental fluorosis.
Yeah.
And it's because we're overdosed. We're overdosed because we don't have just one source of fluoride. We have multiple sources of fluoride.
In the food, in the tea.
Definitely, unbelievable with some of the teas, and especially those Nestle dry crystal iced teas. I mean, unbelievable. You get overdosed if you drank that every day of fluoride. So I mean,
disgusting.
We can't even be dosed properly because certain people drink more water than others.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no way to administer how many fluoride particles or ions are getting in each glass or whatever you're consuming.
That's right.
Another thing I wanted you to explain for the viewers here too, really profound story that you told me about how you met Rick Simpson. You went there from Sudbury, or you traveled there, and he taught you. And I also want to show people here. I'm going to get this quickly on the screen here. You just have to give me a moment to load it all up here. But there's a newspaper article here from Sudbury in regards to Dave about what he went through. I'm going to try to get that on the screen here. Sorry guys, kind of makeshifting it a bit here today because it's not in that regular studio, but it's all good. So I'm going to Google, and I'm going to switch it to the screen so that you guys can see this. But there's if you type in Dave's name, you'll get the article. I checked it out. So David Sylvestre, and we're going to do a Google search. And there is like profiles and stuff like that come up. But here we go. This is the article from the Sudbury Star. And there's a video I posted of David. We had a nice discussion before. This is a really good in-depth interview with David from about a year ago, I think. Yeah. We did that one. Yeah. And here's the article here. I'll get Dave to obviously explain this to you guys firsthand, but gets house arrest after 37 pounds of pot found. About 40 supporters of David Sylvestre in favor of the medical use of marijuana packed into courtroom J to tend support to the man who ran for the Green Party of Ontario against Sudbury Liberal MPP Rick Bartolucci in the 2007 election. Mm-hmm. And this is a supplied photo. These are supporters of David. Actually, I don't think I met you at this time when this happened, actually. If so, I was just after, or around a bit after that time.
Yeah,
well, Gary Kinsman
that wasn't even that long ago, I don't think.
Oh, this?
No, that's like last year. Yeah.
Yeah, this article.
Yeah,
but I mean, when it happened, when it happened, it was before that.
Oh yeah,
we met each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, if you can explain that story to the viewers, that'd be great.
What had happened to me is I was taking a pharmaceutical drug to help treat diabetes, and it was a new drug, and it was called Avandia. And this drug, it did a great job. When I took it, it was working like 100%. My glucose levels were maintained, very well. I didn't have to do much hard work at anything. I don't know what it did or how it did it, but it worked. So I went on for a year like that, and really good glucose levels and everything. And I go to my doctor though, because I had like chest pains and dizzy spells, and I went in and I told that to my doctor, and he said, "Oh, well, you have to stop taking that Avandia because the FDA in the States just issued a serious warning about the side effects that have been causing death in people." And it was heart attacks and strokes, and you're exhibiting symptoms of both, like with the dizziness and the chest pains. So he said, "You got to stop that right away. Stop taking that drug," which I did. And then 3 days later, my glucose levels are going right the heck out of whack all over the place. I mean, I'm way up there in the 30 somethings where I'm waking up and I'm drunk, like I'm fucked up. It was terrible. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure out why, because I went to bed and it was okay, but I woke up in the morning and I was, really high. So ended up after a couple of days like that, I called the doctor, and then he made an appointment for me, and I went and seen him, and then he put me in the hospital because when I showed him what was happening, he couldn't figure it out. And he thought maybe I'd lost it. So that's why he put me in the hospital and, monitored what he gave me and everything. And I still was going all out of whack in the mornings. Mm. And some mornings I'd be okay. So it was like, oh, good, I'm getting better or something like that. And then afterwards it would come back. It was like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, unpredictable.
So, and we found out afterwards, like I did, I found out why and how that drug worked and why what happened to me happened to me. First of all, like that drug, what it does is it suppresses your liver from releasing glucose into your system. And that's part of the fight or flight mechanism in our bodies. That is where the fight or flight mechanisms in our body. I'm sorry, I got lost there for just a second.
Like the glucose in the liver?
Yeah, the glucose, yeah. The thing about it is that with suppressing your liver from releasing glucose into your system, there was a chemistry that was involved with that. And, once you adapt to a chemistry, when you introduce chemistry to your body adapts to it. And what had happened is that once the suppression of the liver's job to release glucose into my system, once that suppression was removed, which was the chemistry that I was taking, then it just went all out of whack. I mean, it was like a rebound effect, so to speak, because it was such a sudden halt of something that I'd been taking for a year and, it was accustomed to. So that really threw it out. And so then I had uncontrollable diabetes because it was the thing that would determine whether I would get a high reading in the morning or not would be if I had a good dream or a bad dream. You see, a bad dream, when you're dreaming, your body doesn't know the difference between, dream and reality. The adrenaline still flows. It washes over your liver and stimulates your liver to release glucose through your system. Mm-hmm. So, I could not give myself insulin just in case that happened. So I couldn't give myself insulin when that happened. Because if I give myself insulin, I would, and not have a bad dream, I wouldn't wake up. So it's uncontrollable. It was totally uncontrollable diabetes, totally uncontrollable. So there's nothing I could do. And as time went on, it was starting to have effects on me. Like it was starting, like I was getting some sores on my feet and stuff like that, and tingling all over the place, and pains in my legs and everything. And oh man, I could feel it. It was eating me up. So because I know how it works, if you don't maintain your glucose levels, there's the little crystals of glucose that form in your blood when it gets to high levels of glucose in it. Well, when that happens, it kind of like scars all your capillaries and stuff like that and everything, and then they plug up. So then you start, losing finger feelings and stuff like that, and your feet, and your toes, and everything. So that's what out of control glucose levels do to a body, and it was doing it to mine. So when they finally let me go out of the hospital, they just gave me painkillers and said, "Hey, really sorry about your luck. We got nothing else to do. We did whatever we could," and they were really generous too. They did do a lot. but it was like being told that there was nothing, like you're just go home and die.
Yeah.
You know, that was what it was. You go home and die.
Yeah.
So and then afterwards I started doing my own research. That's when I found out about all the fight or flight mechanisms and how it, the adrenaline stimulates the liver to release glucose and all that stuff, like how our bodies work in that way, so that I could figure out what happened to me and why I was having such a hard time, with managing it. So anyway, what happened was I did see a video called "Run from the Cure." And it was done by a fellow named Rick Simpson, was the guy who, portrayed himself in the documentary. And so after I watched that documentary, I called him. His phone number was right up there on the screen and his address and everything. So I called him and asked him if I could come and check out all of the medical records of the people that were there, because, and I want to talk to the people myself, directly. And holy mackerel, I went down there and I could not believe what I found. I mean, this guy found basically one of the best health remedies, natural health remedies that I'd ever heard of. And it was so very effective. It just, from the people that I talked to and everything, wow, it was, to me, it was like a cure but it's not a real cure, because the thing is that if you don't maintain your dosage of this medicine, you can go back to the way you were. I mean, it's just a treatment. It isn't a cure. Mm-hmm. So that a treatment means you have to keep taking it. But otherwise, it's the most wonderful treatment that you could have, and it cures other very serious diseases like cancers and and other, like all kinds of forms of cancer have mm-hmm. been positively affected. Yeah. There's also mental illnesses that it can address too, mm-hmm. as well as a medicine. And it's been actually used, and studies have shown how effective it is compared to a pharmaceutical alternative, that would really not, it doesn't, it's just the most amazing health tool, to get started with. And what it can fuel is it fuels the regeneration of your body. And it was just amazing. Like all my ulcers and stuff that I had on my feet and everything like that. Well, I put it on topically as well. Yeah. So I didn't just ingest it.
Like an oil, like a cream.
Yeah. So it was like that, and I put that all, and I did that for quite a period of time. I think almost 2 weeks or something like that. And then holy mackerel, when I finally took a look at it and everything, we had before and after pictures, and it was like I had brand new feet.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
So when you went there, you went to the east coast of Canada to see him?
Yeah, I went to see Rick. I called him and I asked him, and he said, yeah, sure. He said he had a cot out on his porch I could sleep on, and I'm okay. I'm there. So I jumped in my car and I went out to McCann, Nova Scotia. It was a long ride, something like 18, 19-hour drive.
Yeah, like 2 days of driving.
Yeah, well, I didn't do it. I just went right there.
Oh yeah, wow.
Freaking right. Well, hey, I mean, I was very excited by what I saw in the video.
Yeah.
So
the medical industry gave up on you pretty much. So
I was like, here, sorry about your luck. Here's some painkillers. Ease your way out. That's it. That's all I got. And it was okay, because that's what those guys were taught to do. And I can understand that. They're not bad. I had a great doctor. I mean, the one that especially told me to stop taking the Avandia and then put me in the hospital for a while and tried to fix me up, mm-hmm. and did it more than once, actually, put me in the hospital a couple of times. And it was, he did a great job, and I really appreciate him, but he was given very limited tools. Mm. So
you went out to stay with Rick and learn about how he was doing it.
Yeah.
And if it really worked, you wanted to
guaranteed. This is one thing that I have to say to everybody. You don't have to believe anything. You can go see whatever you want to see, mm-hmm. but you don't have to believe anything. And then, if you do decide to try it because you got nothing much to lose, okay, at that stage, well then, and it does work. Wow, that is like a gift. You get a second shot. Like, you know, all my body healed itself and everything. It was in my
It's
mental.
like you're born again. Almost.
Absolutely. Even my mental attitude. Just went pop and has been up ever since.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how bad things get for me or whatever happens, it's still, I'm in a positive frame.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to be able to say that that's what everybody ought to want to be in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's never woe is me. It's always, okay, what's next for me?
Yeah.
What's next for me?
For sure.
That's the way.
Life's an uphill battle, but it's all part of the learning process, for sure.
It's beautiful, too.
So when you went out there and you found out that this does work, you obviously wanted this and try it for your diabetes. You came back here?
Yeah, first of all, Rick was the real deal. Proved it to me by his actions, where he gave me a syringe of oil, like while I was down there, for my illness. So he gave me, without money, treatment. There you go. Yeah, illness, yeah, no joke. So I mean that, and he claimed that to do so in his video too.
Yeah, he showed you how to make it in his video.
Yeah, he showed you how to make it, but he also claimed that he was giving it away. Remember?
Yes, yeah.
So you know that got my attention. You know, when I watched the video, and you're giving this away. Let me see, is this guy real? And he is. He's a freaking angel. This guy's a freaking angel.
Yeah, he's had problems with Canada now, though. Obviously, like with the Canadian Cancer Foundation and the government. I think he's living in another country now. As far as I know, or
last time
maybe West Coast. He moved.
Yeah, he was out in the West Coast. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the last I know. But I mean, I don't really keep great tabs on Rick, but I do love that guy. You know, and I listen to him talk, and he is right on.
Yeah, saved your life, I guess you could say, so to speak.
Well, he saved my life.
But you got, as we seen in the news article that I showed you guys earlier, you had some problems. Like you were making this medicine for yourself and treating yourself so that you wouldn't be sick from the diabetes.
Yeah.
But you, as you explained to me, you were also making it and giving it to other people, just like Rick did to you.
Yeah.
You were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You're helping give people another chance at life.
Exactly. Right on. That was my pay it forward moments. You know, I'm paying it forward, guys.
And because of that, because we live in Canada, you
that's illegal.
Ran into some problems.
Yeah, it's illegal.
And that probably had to have tarnished your record, even like you were trying to do the Green Party thing.
Yeah, well,
must have.
I think it's quite all right. It was, poor Green Party. They have to be associated with me. And I'm associated with this. But it's not that way. All the Green Party people here are still very supportive of all the things like they're good people. They're just, they're very supportive of all positive things that they can come to,
Yeah.
And so it's, our job's to try and help them come to better understandings along with us, and you don't have to be in power to do that,
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes being out of power is easier too, because you don't have to worry about, hey, there's a fellow that I was talking to that is a shop steward and a representative of the local union here, okay? And he was telling me, he says, look, these are not my opinions, but I gotta follow a line. I mean, I'm told if you're doing this job, you cannot speak about this, and that.
And if you do, you lose your job, or you could go to jail or get arrested, or have your life destroyed, have your house taken away, your car.
Yeah.
And I've been talking for a little bit here tonight. My voice might go a little bit out. I've been in the studio for a couple days working on an album, and I haven't sang metal vocals in a couple of years, so my throat is really it's worked in today. So if my voice goes up a notch or two, cracks and squeaks, sorry guys.
You're doing good, Mark. But
like when you told me your story about going and helping other people, and then them cracking down on you, and you got house arrest, which was good, and you just recently actually finished all that legal stuff.
For now.
You're out of that now. So so that's good to hear that you are out of that, but it's unfortunate that you had to go through that because you were really trying to help other people.
Well, I was actually helping other people.
Yeah.
And you know, it was my intention. It was the results. You know, that's what happened when I was able to, you know, provide for others. It was just, and also, you know, I knew where there was a person that had a lot of opportunity to, you know, distribute freely. I knew that there was not going to be a profit made off of it. So there was other, you know, I could send it to people that I knew were, you know, going to do the. It was part of the social thing, the pro bono thing, that, you know, like you give it to these people that are sick. You don't charge them for, you know, you give it to them. You know, just like Rick gave it to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, all it took was that amount that he gave me, and it was, wow, I was back, I was alive again. You know, I wasn't on the path of death.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's something to really appreciate. You know, and now I want to share it with everybody. You know, now I got
Of
a
course.
passion. You know, I got a passion for life. I understand a whole lot more. You know.
Yeah, you've learned a lot since then.
Oh, Josh, yeah. But you know, I was really good at what I did. I mean, I was a farmer. So growing plants is easy. You know, and I did graduate from a chemical engineering program here at Cambrian College.
Yeah, actually, well,
And-
yeah, when I met you, that's
yeah.
what you're.
Yeah.
You were still learning about all that stuff
Yeah.
too, like.
And
You told me that.
yeah, and there's like I took environmental biology as well out in North Bay, and you know, it was just the foundations that I needed to be able to understand the fabric of our physical, you know, condition that we're in and what matters. And like I really keep trying to tell people too that, you know, critical thinking is not something you have to really work at. It just will come naturally as soon as you start asking questions. And that's all. Just ask questions. And if you don't come to an answer, you know, you've thought about it anyways, you know, which is okay. So these are the kinds of things that I like to get people, and also to be positive all the time. You know, I mean, I like to tell people about what I think is positive, you know, rather than, you know, and if they can help me know that it's not positive, well, then I'll be happy to know that, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to know what's the most positive thing we can do. And so this way here, I try to get people that are engaged with me, you know, in conversation or whatever, to think about things that they aren't thinking about, and to come to their own conclusion. I know they can do that.
Yeah, help them grow, plant the
Yeah.
seed.
Yeah.
Help them grow.
And it's amazing when you see it happening too. Like, to me, what is positive is growth and knowing better and wanting to know better. You know, same thing as, to me, to feed your eternal soul or your spirit, to feed your spirit, you've got to be authentic. You know, you can't be.
Yeah, you have to be honest to yourself.
Yeah, you got to be authentic, yeah. To yourself and to others too. But I mean, you got to start at home. That's the first thing to do. And then when you move out back out into society after you've done this for yourself, you then try to see if you can spread that sense of peace or whatever you found, you know, from your own taming of your own ego.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
That's the beauty of that's the beauty.
Like when people comment to me, I'm usually the first to say no. I'm very humble. You know
I know
what I mean?
you are. Yeah.
I wasn't always humble though. I'll admit that. There was a time, a long time ago, when I was in a band. I was just like, yeah, I'm the best. You know what I mean? I didn't care what other people. I held my head up high and didn't really care about anything else except about what I was doing and stuff. You know, and it just. I stepped outside of that shell almost and just looked at myself and looked how others were perceiving me and how others were looking at me, and that got me to identify, oh, I do have an ego. That's crazy. And I just totally overnight almost just smothered that ego. Actually, I remember I went up to the meteor here in Sudbury on the mountain behind the house here. I went up on top of the meteor and sat there, built a fire, and I sat alone for about 8 hours. And that day, I swear I'm going to use this term, killed myself up there.
Nice.
You know, I went up there and I'm like, I'm not coming back down this mountain until that ugly SOB is dead.
Yeah.
And I just went up there, all right, meditated for a few hours, and I came off the hill, clean, positive person.
Nice.
It does take that. You're right about that, you know. It's good to identify egos and get rid of that stuff.
Well, I had no idea about mine either, until when you face your mortality, that's a good stimulus, to see that kind of stuff. Just saying, I was pretty sick there, and I thought I was gone, and and all this kind of stuff. So you go explore places that you normally don't.
Yeah.
But the good thing is when I come back out of it, I took them with me. The understandings that were generated by the stimuluses that I was having at the time.
Yeah.
Having to deal and face with certain things that I wasn't giving up. I was just, but I had a very good friend of mine who just died a couple of years earlier, and he died from the complications of diabetes, piece by piece. Where they cut his toes off, then they cut his ankle, then it got up to the knee, then above the knee, and holy shit, man! He went through strokes and all that. I went right through it with him. He was my buddy. He was an incredible, beautiful man, and he was cantankerous as all shit. Mean too, to look like, but he was a good guy, good-hearted guy, and so I watched him die from the complications of diabetes. And what did I develop? But uncontrollable diabetes, and I was experiencing the same symptoms. I went through it with him, so I felt it.
So you were worried. You didn't want to.
Well, as far as I was concerned, most people were wondering how they were going to die. I knew exactly how I was going to die, piece by piece. That's what I believed at the time, before I knew that it was something else I could do. When the official health system gives up on you, you're kind of thinking, oh man, what can I do? Well, the thing you can do is just not give up, keep looking, don't be afraid to try something, because you're going to die anyway, just try and see how it works. But there's so many things, it's not just, the cannabis extracts, but all kinds of other things too as well that can really promote amazing
healthy eating, foods, superfoods, all that stuff is good. Right. And I wanted to just mention here, it's a bit off topic, but it's all right. I've got a DVD here. This is a documentary I made, Malcolm X, by whatever means necessary, and I'm going to be giving this away today on the show. So the first person to type Malcolm X into the chat room, I'll mail you that DVD for free, no charge. I'll send it out to your house. So whoever types Malcolm X in the chat room will get this DVD. And I don't know if anybody's watching. It says we've got some viewers there watching, but we'll see if they're going to run to the computer and type the word in. And whoever gets it, I'll definitely mail them out this DVD. So I like to have contests on the show every once in a while. Give out some items, activist items or information, educational materials. So if nobody types it in, if nobody heard me say that, I'm going to say it again in a little bit, and we'll see who catches that. I think there's a delay too on the network, so it takes a little bit of time before it reaches them or before they see what's happening. So, so I'll check it in a minute there. But there's the contest. Name the DVD, get the DVD. First person on the chat, right on. But yeah, to get back to what you were saying and to discussing your life and how you've gotten involved with all this stuff and stuff, what would you say is the most fundamental thing somebody could do to create a better world for themselves and for those around them and stuff like that? What would you say?
Wow, it's pretty hard to. Like for me, it's what I can see that's real. It's the understandings that I can get that help me understand how we're individual and how we're all attached. Like those are dualities in our heads that are pretty hard to resolve too. That's for me. The kinds of things I think about. As far as the deepness of understanding, we don't ever have to give up anything, ever, we don't have to. We can only choose to. So, why would I ever want to give up on creating a sustainable world or anything like that?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You know, it wouldn't matter. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people that are, and things are changing, Mark. I mean, I see it. It's happening. You know, I don't know if it's going to happen fast enough or not, but it's happening. And there are things that are changing. We are changing all the time. You know, you and I, you know, everybody is, you know, we're evolving into something, you know, different.
It's a sign of growth, like you said too. That means we're healthy. We're doing the right thing. We're on the right path.
Yes.
And yeah, it's what you were saying there. The most important thing is like to never give up and be real and just always focus.
Face your own weaknesses or your own mistakes, especially. You know, I mean, I have somebody, you know, and this is a good friend too. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize it right at the time because it just felt a little bit bad because I actually said something that, you know, was inappropriate. And she was able to explain it to me, so I thought, wow, sorry, you know, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have said that, you know, all this stuff because you know, I always talk very freely and everything, and I didn't really come from the same perspective she did from what I had shared, you know, what I said. So what I'm trying to say is the words mean something different to us than they do to the people who hear them most of the time.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, but what happened is that she actually did show me, you know, how what I say could hurt, you know, you know, it's just, but I mean, at the same time, I know I never have the intention of doing so, you know, of hurting anybody by saying what I say.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that's, and I try to be as honest and as real as I can be with it. And, you know, always like to, you know, help people and myself, you know, grow. I have no religious beliefs or anything like that, but I do believe, like, you know, causes do have their effects universe. That, you know, when I help another, I'm helping myself, and when I hurt another, I'm hurting myself. So this is the way I view, you know, do no harm in honesty and integrity. That's it. You know?
Do you see, like you have children as well?
Yeah.
Do you see, like, their generation, like the future generations, do you feel that there will be like a significant change in regards to identifying these problems, you think, and the truth coming out and all that stuff? Do you feel that the next generation will be bringing that torch, or do you feel that they'll keep inflicting this harm upon us?
No, I'm no, I think they're going to be. They need encouragement just to wait. This is what the young people need is encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to share what they truly feel and know and everything about the world. You know, to be able to be free with their family, their parents. You know, I mean, it's like a self-suppression, so to speak. You know, we suppress ourselves, eh? And but when I don't know how to say this, but we got to share. We got to share with each other how we feel, how we think, so that if we're feeling down and there's sharing how you think, and that might be able to let somebody else help you, you know, think a different way, which is better. You know, so when you share, you allow people the opportunity to help you. So that's all. And, you know, so I think sharing is about the best thing to do. And I'm talking about in ideas and stuff like that and all this other things. I'm not talking about money or any of that kind of stuff, you know. I'm talking about true valuables, which is knowing, understandings, and information,
technologies,
all the rest, yes. So, I mean, these are, you know, so it's and I have my own direction that I have gone in. And it's been so absolutely wonderful to me, you know, because
to pursue that,
yeah, and I'm really forgiving on myself too, you know. But I'm not. How can I say this? I'm not hard enough too, you know. Like, I mean, I'm still. There's a whole lot more that I would like to do, and there is going to be a whole lot more that I will do, but you know.
Yeah, we are limited.
Yeah.
Like, there is only so much we can do.
Yeah.
But if you're doing nothing to solve the problem, then you are the problem, really.
Well, yeah.
Or contributing to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good that even just sharing information and talking like we are now, we're just sitting here at my place talking right now.
Yeah.
That's a very important thing to do in order to help each other grow and
Yeah.
get better, I think.
It's quite
For
amazing.
sure.
And that's the way it is. I mean, you gave me some amazing understandings, you know, about how there's a drop of poison. You know, the more truth there is in whatever the belief system it is, that there's, you know, the more truth, the more deadly the poison
Yeah.
within it. You know, so, and it only takes one drop of poison to...
The misinformation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes one drop to poison the well, yeah.
So it's really you know, a great thing to understand, you know, that we can't just give up our free will to something outside of us, you know, where we start believing that, you know, we can't save ourselves, you know, in a religious form. And because that's very harmful to the whole, to all of us, you know.
Yeah. Just like the financial system, the medical system. The way you were explaining it earlier too. The financial system, how it's mathematically designed to collapse and stuff.
Oh yeah, you know, yeah.
What I've noticed too is with transhumanism coming into play now, and technological unemployment, machines replacing people, they're still pursuing the economy essentially. Like the economy's still there, it's still going, but eventually. When all those jobs are lost and replaced by machines, and we're still living on a cash society, that's danger zone.
Well, you're in a whole lot of trouble now with that.
How do you see that unfolding?
Well, see, like right now, what we have, like I call them make work projects, but there's the reason why I call most of them make work projects is because of the technological ability that we have to replace them. So it's called technological unemployment, you know, and it is right throughout all industries right now.
Oh yeah.
You know, and this is like when I was young, you know, and if I called a corporation and they would answer the phone and say, "How can I direct your call?" That would be a person getting paid. Now it's a machine that tells me, you know, push one of these buttons to get one of these things, you know. So that's a form of technological unemployment, and you know,
cash registers at grocery stores.
It's all
travel agencies.
Oh yeah,
everything.
So we can actually automate it. Everything in our world right now could be automated. So we are basically obsolete as, you know, the human machine. We're very frail, like we get hurt, you know, and all the rest of that stuff, and plus there's a liability to having a human machine, you know, like if you get hurt on the job or something like that, the company's got to pay you something, you know.
Yeah, compensation.
Yeah, compensation, that's the word. So anyway, this technological unemployment is very appealing and absolutely profitable for the corporation. So
for the corporation only, though.
Yeah, just for the corporation, yeah.
And that's the way the contracts are always designed, though, where the corporation gets everything and the people, the public, nothing.
Yeah, it's incredible, and
the scraps,
and we accept it, and I don't know why we would not object. You know, silence is approval. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, when I say, why would anybody approve? Well, what I'm really trying to say is, why would anybody remain silent to give this approval?
Yeah. Because being silent is approval. Yeah.
So it's a hard thing for people to realize that, you know, and I know that we were even talking about it earlier. You know, when you got a job and you know, you push it too far. You know, you push the information too far. They feel uncomfortable. You know, because you know, like myself, I call people economic slaves, you know, stuff like that. A lot of people don't like being called a slave.
Yeah, or sheep or...
Yeah, you know, so...
anything like that.
Yeah, but I'm not meaning it in a derogatory way when I say, you know, we're slaves. We are. We're enslaved to this system. And,
yeah, it's fair to say that we are slaves because if you look even in a historical retrospect to the matter, there's always been like a hierarchy. Not always. Before that, there was hunter-gatherer tribes and all that when that was going on. But there is even evidence to support that we were way more technologically advanced back then than what they're telling us.
Absolutely.
And that makes sense to me that they are lying to us in our own history books and teaching that in school so that we'll believe it's real. It's a fictional reality.
Yeah, guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. And that's why, I just made a personal decision to disregard most of history.
Yeah.
Just disregard.
Well, that's what it is. It's his story. It's his story. Whose story? He's telling a story, a fairy tale.
So we're just, I just like to disregard it. That's all.
Yeah.
So, and I can do that. And, but the thing is that, if people keep saying that history repeats itself, and that's true. But the reason is because we didn't learn anything. That's why we keep doing these same things that are harmful to us all the time. And, that I don't think is, I think we can learn better. I think we can do better. I think we can grow our understandings better to understand just these kinds of basics.
Oh, yeah. If there's absolutely. If there's Federal Reserve out there, if there's Monsanto out there, then obviously we can do better. If those things are even allowed to exist. And there's all sorts of evidence. You just got to scratch the surface. You'll find out a lot of hidden. Well, they do it. They hide the information from the public so that we're more easily controllable, so that we're gullible and we won't ask questions.
Even the structure of our education system is all directed towards compliance. Comply. Yeah, that's all it is. And they have like one teaching style that they were using, and now I think they still use predominantly just one, but they can, make accommodations for other styles of learning now, but very limited. And the thing about that is that, if we're not teaching people how to think, what are we teaching them?
What to think.
Yeah, what to think.
And how to think.
That's right. So we got to teach people how to think. This is a key factor, logic boards, really, games of chess, you're thinking ahead, you're thinking. And, so these are like exercises. Now there's also these games on, I don't play any video games or anything like that. I get addicted, so I'd stay away. But I'm already hooked enough. Like I quit playing chess and stuff like that because there's the real game of life to figure out. And
life seems like it's a game of risk.
It is.
To take countries over. And who's going to win this game? Is it a two-player game? How many people are playing?
Yeah, well, that's it. And that's politics.
Yeah.
That's what I see as politics. And I don't know if you ever heard or broken down the word politics, because I knew you broke down that word governmental.
Yeah.
The two parts.
I wasn't the first one to break that down though, but I'd use that a lot. But I watched that in that "Oh Canada, Our Country Bought and Sold" documentary. That was an eye-opener.
What was it ever for me too? I saw that one. But there was something. Oh, geez, Mark, I can't remember what I was trying to tell you there. With the
education.
Oh yeah. There were really good people in the education system. They're not bad people at all, and they're doing their best. And they're getting. They're getting very. There's a lot of selfishness though that's built into the system by virtue of liabilities. They can't even touch the kids anymore or do anything like that and act like a community. Because of all the other abuses that going on. And I guess this is one way to respond to that. But I wouldn't.
It's not the teacher's fault. You know what I mean? The teachers actually get a book, and that book tells them what they're allowed to teach throughout the year.
That's right.
And they have predetermined exercises and all that stuff. Now, you'll get a good teacher every once in a while who's going to throw on a movie. Yeah. Forrest Gump or whatever, when you're in school, just to pass the time. But yeah, they have these manuals and pamphlet. I don't know what they are, but they're what do you call them? Curriculum agenda or something like that. Yeah. And they're supposed to teach it by the book, like exactly like that. Nice. So it's it's not really the teacher's fault, because if they're going to get a paycheck, then they got to do their job, and their job is to teach these children how to be obedient through this book, and also teach them some fundamentals of life too.
They haven't been given
industry.
Yeah, They haven't been given
politician.
authority to teach it the way they want to.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's the same too with the doctors. It's like you said, there's doctors are good, but they're just doing their job by how they were taught.
Yeah.
By how they were taught.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
once these teachers and these educators are rewired, so to speak, then we could really start pushing the envelope.
That's right. And I think that the envelope's being pushed right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do. This ideas and concepts are spreading very quickly, about us having no health care because we have no prevention of illness. That's the true cure of anything is prevention.
Mm-hmm.
So we're chasing our tail looking for a cure, not even looking at what the cause is. So we need to look at the cause so we can prevent it from happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all, and follow along those best practices. They're not. It's not hard. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like that reflects on not only ourselves health-wise, but also the world itself.
Yeah.
On a social level, I find that it works the same way. If your body is sick or you're ill, which the earth does seem to be, in order to fix the problem, you need to find the cause of the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And if we were to say that the cause of the problem might be CO2, well, we should probably stop putting CO2 into the atmosphere. That's all. You know what I mean? And I know that people think that we need this type of energy that we're currently using.
Yeah, CO2 is good. Good though, it's needed. It's needed
Well,
for our world, like.
But
in excess is
we have changed the chemistry of our atmosphere,
mm-hmm.
and in particular, the largest addition to the atmosphere was the CO2. But there were other ones too. There was methanes too that were added. But the CO2 did something else too that many people don't realize. This is that when you increase the concentration of CO2 in your atmospheres, your plants will grow much faster.
Yeah, exactly.
They will, and they'll be bigger too. But guess what though? They only still had the same access to the nutrients in the soil, meaning their access to it did not increase. So you got more bulk. There's less nutrition per pound.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what happens with CO2, and it's a pretty. It's something that they could tell through archaeology, where when the CO2 concentrations of the atmosphere were high, that the animals, the mammals in particular, like the horses and other mammals as well, when that got higher, their body size got smaller. And they wondered why.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Like back then, things were bigger, people were bigger. That's why you have bigger human skeletons because of that. Apparently, that's what I've heard people explain it that way. Anyways,
it could be that way. And
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I really think that knowing what's important is part of a good start at critical thinking. So I really do think that it is important for us to address the harm that we're accepting that's being placed upon us. Okay, and we have to object to it. And you know what? We're getting sick. We are, all of us, and I'm not immune to it either. I've got health problems too, and still. But the thing is that we could do better. We can do better.
Oh, yeah.
And we just have to remove some of these impediments to doing better. Like that. The profit motive is got to be, written out of law for a while. For those types of things. So that means it has to be done in a public best interest sort of way for the public. You can't have it owned by industry, by corporations. Now, corporations can own other things, but they wouldn't be able to be incorporated to profit from, a treatment.
Yeah.
And then we could also, though, allow them, though, to look for cures. We could say...
And they would actually do it.
Yes, because that's how they could make money.
Yeah.
Look for cures. And the more cures you come up with, hey, the more the government will pay you, we just changed the incentive from sick to healthy.
Yeah.
And that's as easy as it would be to turn the whole freaking thing around.
And yeah, it's much better to live in a healthy world than a sick, dying,
Yeah.
corrupt world.
Well, yeah.
Definitely.
It's incredible, even in our minds, in our own psyche and thinking. You know, I can see the corruption from the environment, and but I also you know, can now understand really, really clear why it's happening. You know, I know why. It's the incentives that we put in for it to happen.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm not trying to make it simple, but it's simple. It's that simple. And I can't.
Yeah, a lot of people just think that's the way it is.
No, yeah, I mean,
Can't change it. That's just the way it is.
well, yes, but I mean, it's not
It's crazy.
sustainable. So, you know, because it's not sustainable, mathematically unsustainable, because you cannot fuel an infinite economy, like an economy like the one that we have that has to grow to be successful. You can't, that makes it infinite. So you can't fuel an infinite economy with finite resources.
Mm-hmm.
And we have these two things which are opposing, which is infinite economy, finite resource, that's finite planet. You know, so it's not hard to visualize.
It eventually goes in the negatives.
It does.
Is how that mathematical factor pans out.
Yes. So anyway, it can't be sustained. That type of growth cannot be sustained, and the only thing that we can do is we can live within our means. You know, as a species, as a planet, as a world, you know, we must respect all life on the planet. I'm not talking about just us human life, but all life has to be respected. And that means that all life has to be given a right to life, you know, and that's it. And right now here in Canada, we should be, you know, supporting the writing our environment into the Constitution, you know, the health and well-being of our environment so that it keeps us healthy and you know, but we could claim we're getting sick just living in the city on a main street because there's so much fumes and things like that it will affect you over time. It'll really make you sick.
And the products that they make too are unhealthy. The plastics that they wrap all the food in that leaches into the food, gives you cancer. You got radiation coming off your laptops, off your cell phones, off everything you could think of electronically. It's just emitting radiation into your body, into your tissues. And you got, you know, ELF waves. You've got all these different kind of waves being shot at us all the time that are just...
Yeah, and to me, you know, I think that we could still have all of our technology, not lose any of the qualities that we get from the wireless capabilities. Just do it differently. You know, keep it out of the range that affects us and look for other ways, because there are other ways besides these. This is just the cheapest way.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's crazy that they've had cell phones for so many years.
Yeah.
They just withheld that technology from the public. And I mean, a cell phone nowadays is so expensive. It's like $300 or $400 for, well, even higher if you're going to get the newest model of whatever's coming out. It's even $500 or $600. And then when you get your phone, you got to have it serviced. The bill is usually $50 to $100 a month. Yeah. Sometimes more if you text a lot or call a lot. So you got this huge monthly bill coming in, yet your wages are being deducted, or you've lost your job and you're living off of whatever you can because the economy and the technological unemployment. So it doesn't make sense to charge that much for a phone when all it is an invisible wave that you can't even see. It doesn't cost anything to build the towers. It's on our property.
Yeah.
They're building this stuff and they're charging us for it.
That's right.
And we sign. That's what those contracts are for. Okay. Sign your name. You're saying, okay. Okay.
You're agreeing, yes.
Yeah.
And if
contracts,
you don't...
I'll never sign a contract again.
No, you don't. Yeah.
I'll never. And if I do, it won't be with my name. And I'm serious. I'll admit that on camera right now. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a straw man anymore. I'm a living flesh, human being. Try to take me away from that. No. There's only one way to do it, and I don't see that happening to me anytime soon. But in any event, we got to understand that the contracts there that are meant to bind us to either to profit off us or to lock us in to an agreement so that they can profit off our fictitious character.
That's right. And that's exactly right. I mean, that's by design. Within the economic structure that we have, that's exactly what it's designed to do. And it does it. It does it, and it creates the social stratification, where you got to have poor to have rich. If you got no,
Yeah.
you got no poor, you got no rich.
Yeah.
And that's not what
It'd be
people,
nice to redesign society almost outside of that circle, like form a crust around it almost, or something. Just,
we can do that.
Just work outside of that ring.
Yes.
You don't need to sign contracts. This guy here doesn't. He's awake. Or he's aware of this, and he designed his own cell phone, or he has his own cell phone company. He's not going to charge you for it. It's free.
That's right.
That's what we need to do, is just
give it away.
Give it away. Give it away. Give it away. I mean, free is good. And I'll have people argue with me all the time about that.
And I know it's true because of the idea of competition. Okay, here's something to think about. Okay, this is how people think sometimes. This is that they don't think about the person working in the sweatshops down in China, okay, or in India, child ones, whatever. They don't think. They think that they here in this country, I work hard for my money. I work for it. I work hard for it. And I say, well, do you think that those people down in China aren't working hard? I mean, what makes your time more valuable than theirs?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, how do you reconcile that? It's a pretty good question.
Yeah, and the wages are so different.
They
Unbelievable.
are. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get to people. We have a social stratification, and it's bringing the quality of life of all people on the planet down. This is a given. And we haven't really progressed very much, or as much as we think. But gosh darn, life is beautiful and it's easy, and it's, we're very fortunate right now. I just think that we should be more concerned about being able to maintain, a quality of life, and rather than support systems that will possibly bring our quality of life down to a bare minimum or less. Many people might die, all the rest of this. So, but working together, we can always, do like Mark says, help a bubble around this cancer by doing our own things. Like we planted ourselves a little garden this year on public property, just down the trails from where we were living. And we didn't ask for permission. And we planted things like asparagus and mulberries and raspberries and strawberries and all kinds of different perennial style food items, so that next year it's going to be there again.
Yeah.
We don't have to even go and plant anything or do anything.
Cycles like that.
Yes, exactly. So, we can start our own food force.
That's a good name. Food force.
Food force, man. I'm talking. That's what we're doing out there in the back. We're making a food force. Yeah,
guerrilla garden. Yeah,
right. Guerrilla gardening. That's like, and you can plant apple trees and pear trees and all kinds of different fruit trees everywhere. And instead of planting aesthetically pleasing trees like they do have, you know what I mean? Like we can grow orchards in the city for everybody.
Yeah, in Moncton they have that.
Yeah.
I was walking downtown Moncton and I seen all these fruits and vegetables growing along the pots right downtown. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. You could just pluck raspberries off of the bush and eat them while you're walking on the street.
I know, isn't
free
that
food for the city?
Yes. So I mean, these are fantastic ideas, but you got to realize that each dollar of food that you produce that way is $1 out of the economy.
It doesn't need to be that way.
No.
It shouldn't be.
Never.
But yeah, if anybody that's watching the show right now is on there on the chat room, if you can name this documentary here, which I'm showing you, so it should be pretty easy. If you can name this documentary, I'll mail it to you for free. It's your prize. You'll win the prize for the day. So take a good look at that documentary there. If you can type it in the chat room, I'll mail it out to you. And I see there's a couple people talking on there now, so I thought it'd be a good time to do the contest. So it's a contest. You can win this DVD if you type that in the chat room. The name of that. Get it closer. There you go, guys. So let's see who will win this DVD. I know there's action on here. I'm seeing people type, so. Oh, there we go. Looks like we have R. Warren. R. Warren won this DVD. Right on. R. Warren, you are the prize winner for Malcolm X. And I think I know who that is. I think R. Warren is probably our buddy Rick.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's the only one. So, hey, Rick, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by the show and checking out the chat today. And I just I also seen that there was a question here. Where is it? From Rick. What are your thoughts on the whole situation that is taking place with Canada's food supply, as well as the water supply?
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I guess if he's referring to or if you're referring to genetically modified food supply, which is what they're doing, they're trying to eliminate like the alfalfa crops, and they're trying to replace all these heirloom crops here in Canada with genetic crops. I don't agree with that, obviously, and the water supply as well. Just we already explained the water supply earlier about how we should be addressing it as a harmful drug that they're putting into our water supply, against our consent, because that is a crime against humanity. So every community that's fluoridating people with water, they're essentially committing a crime against humanity, against the people in the community. So
and you know, people
voice
who
is definitely going.
The removal of fluoride from the city water supply would not impede any individual's ability to get fluoride if they wanted it. So you know,
who would want that? Who would want?
Well,
fluoride? I don't know.
like
it's kind of weird.
It's sort of like you've got to let people
choose.
But that's what we're saying. That's why we're saying that we don't have a right not to have it. We don't have a right to choose right now. Well, if you remove it, they still have the right to choose.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying.
Which is fair.
Yeah. They like the people who want it, they can still get it. They're not outlawing it, you know. They haven't outlawed stupidity. They won't outlaw any of that kind of stuff, really.
Yeah.
You know, I mean this, and I'm not meaning, I mean unawareness or people not looking, and I think it's because they're not fueled right. And that might be what Rick is talking about too, is that, you know, our food supply is being depleted of nutrition just simply because we keep growing the same, we keep growing in the same fields all the time, over and over again. And we really don't put all of the nutrients back into the soil. So each time, you know, we grow food in these fields and don't put the nutrients that the food took out back into the fields, then we will have less nutrition for the next year. So our food supply becomes less and less nutritious each year. Now that's a pretty serious physical problem in our world, you know, because these are requirements for our health and well-being in our bodies. And this is creating a lot of illnesses. So this is why this problem is allowed to continue.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So it's just, that's all. That's why it's happening. So we need to stop that. And we need to understand, where do the nutrients go? Well, our bodies uses what it, you know, to build its bodies, and we have a full complement of these nutrients in our bodies, but our bodies never return to the soil.
Mm-hmm.
And our waste goes to... You know,
we have a comment here from someone in the chat, Cypress Hill. It says, I'm in the UK. It's a massive doses in the water. Goldfish die.
Wow.
So that's, I did hear that actually UK has the worst concentration for fluoride in the world, apparently. And that's in the United Kingdom. But United Kingdom is one of the only countries in Europe that even fluoridates.
Wow.
So that's very interesting to point out. Here in Canada and the United States, definitely massive fluoride in most of the water supply. Most cities have that. But it's very, that's crazy. I never heard about goldfish dying in the water.
Well,
that's,
you know,
that's disgusting.
They have access to the same remedies as we were talking about earlier, which is that it is against your human rights under the Geneva Convention of the United Nations. These are, you know, you can use these laws in your country and any country in the world, because they're, you know, as long as they're a member of the United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
And the United Nations, I'm against them for my own reasons, because I do see them as the one world government, the one world. They're trying to make it more dominant. Anyways, as the years go by, I'm noticing. But the United Nations, the human rights, I actually did an interview with somebody who used to work with the United Nations, and I asked her. She's like, "Well, there's 30 fundamental human rights under the Charter of United Nations," and I asked her, I'm like, "That seems kind of silly that there's only 30. There shouldn't be a limited number to our human rights and abilities and freedoms."
That's what they could come up with. That's what I think, and
Maybe, yeah.
I think anything can be amended, if we wanted to, but I don't know. Like,
I think just saying that these are your freedoms, you got 30. That's limiting your freedom.
We're totally
That's
limited
brutal.
when we think somebody has to give us our freedoms. Then we're really in trouble. We're
And I think that goes into play with the slave thing.
That's
that
right.
We are still slaves, obviously,
That's
because we have to be.
Yes, that's what it is.
We are free to leave the society and become free men or whatever.
Yes,
it's
we are.
very hard.
And the thing about it is that I'm of the mind that we're all entitled to our fair share of the world's resources. And I really think that because I feel that all of the world's resources are the common heritage of not only all the world's people, but all the world's life.
And the future as well.
In the future, yes. Not just the people, but the whole totality of the planet's health.
See, this is what's crazy here. Well, I don't know if it's crazy, but this is just something that I've been thinking of a lot more lately. And anybody who caught my New World Order Alien Agenda episode that was done a couple weeks ago will probably know a little bit about this. But I'm always wondering why. Why are they destroying our planet? Why are they trying to kill us? Why are they spraying chemtrails? Why are they poisoning our food? What are they doing? Why are they trying to self-destruct this planet? And I'm wondering if they have an escape. I wonder if they got something else out there that they're trying to do this on purpose.
Definitely. Like this is as intentional as
first degree murder.
Anything. Yes, exactly.
Pretty much.
This is not just by accident this stuff's happening. No freaking way. It's just too perfect for killing us, and destroying our environment that sustains us. We're not going to destroy any planet or anything like that, but we're going to destroy the conditions on this planet, for us to be able to survive or thrive.
Yeah, and that's what's making me wonder, why? You know what I mean? Why? Because they got to live on this planet too. So that's what really makes me wonder.
Maybe there's there's so many things we don't know. And you know what? And I always agree with you in the fact that, hey, this doesn't serve them well either. It's not doing them any
makes
favor.
You wonder why.
So you're wondering what the heck is up with that. Well, I really think that they have become delusional to some degree, seriously delusional, because they don't seem to be able to think critically enough to understand how it affects them. And and that's why so many people come up with all these things about, it's got to be these lizard people. Honestly, because they can't imagine real people doing this.
Watch out for the forked tongue, guys.
Yeah. So it's true though that honestly, that's my, I understand that it's hard to figure this shit out. So
it's a puzzle,
and you know what, you can jump to different things and all this stuff. They don't even matter. If there are lizard people, it doesn't really matter. And hey, they may be the ones trying to terraform the planet so that it suits them better. Because who knows what's happening?
Yeah,
they might be coming back. And this humanism or being able to live forever, so to speak, on a mechanical.
They're getting there.
And no kidding. It's and I know how technology works. It grows exponentially. So even the suppressed technologies that I know that are all out there right now, even without those, we're still going to experience some unbelievable, unstoppable, technological advances. They're just going to be freaking wild. We got the 3D printer now, which can almost materialize anything in the 3D realm that you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as easy as that. And they're even building houses with these things now.
Yeah, so the builders, the labor market, the unions are going to be all abolished once those come into play.
Well, absolutely. It's already there. The technology exists, and it has been proven. So it's not, and there's for sale. These machines are for sale, and they're talking about buying them and using them for disaster relief, where they need to go and build, shelters really quick.
Huh.
Because
that'd be a good use for them. Like there's always good uses for the technology, but they also it's often stumbled upon because of negative intentions, military looking into this stuff. So
yeah. But it's pretty cool though to see the positive side of things too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's but anyways, we
have a couple minutes left in the broadcast here before we gotta unfortunately sign off. Death to the New World Order, I believe, is coming up next with Harry Link, so don't want to miss that. And before the show, we had the Rundown live. We actually caught the last little bit of the rundown today. I was showing Dave. So just one thing before we go, I had to mention this. Rick, for the DVD here to claim your prize, just send me an email to worldpublicunion@yahoo.com. Just let me know your address and I'll mail it out to you. I'll mail that out this week. I got a few others to mail out, so definitely send me an email, worldpublicunion@yahoo.com, not .ca but .com, and I'll get you that DVD. The next week's show, I'm going to be discussing Monsanto and genetically modified organism consumption health risks. So I'm going to be going over medical studies, over some of the evidence supporting the claims that it is harmful to us. There's a lot of people out there who say, no, they wouldn't be feeding us if it wasn't harmful. Well, next week's episode, you will find out that it absolutely is harmful, and we must absolutely abolish Monsanto. So, got a couple minutes left. If anybody wants to ask Dave a quick question before we go, on the chat, shoot out a question. Do you have any last comments to say before we?
Yeah, I wanna end the incentives that create the Monsantos.
Yeah,
I want to end that incentive. Yeah, that's pretty much would be a good start. Yeah, and but
we're doing good. And is there any websites or links that you could mention that for people to check out? Like, I know you don't have a website, but you help with the World Public Union, obviously locally here. We have meetings and stuff.
Well,
but is there any others?
People can always get a hold of me at wherethegoodgo@gmail.com. That's my email. And if you search Facebook with that email, you should be able to find me.
Cool.
So that's how you
awesome.
Where the Good Go, all lowercase, and just wondering where the good go. So that's why I called it.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a great guy with a wealth of information, a lot of common sense information, a lot of stuff that makes sense. And he's a very wise person, very generous, caring person, I find, and that's why it's great to know you. Thanks, good friend, man. For sure.
Thanks, man.
Not only a fellow activist, but also a good friend. And anybody out there who wants to give David a shout, get him on their show or have a conversation with him, he's definitely got some good info. So I want to thank everybody as well for joining us here today on Unveiling the Truth. Definitely had a pretty good episode. Again, I apologize for my voice being a bit crackly and stuff like that, but I just got out of the studio, so it's going to be rough. But next week, I promise it'll be sounding a little bit better. We won't be chopping out every once in a while. So thanks everybody for watching, and until next time.
Ignite the spark, embark on planetary missions. Cancerous growth in the government enters remission. Step into the stargate, manifest remote visions. This cataclysm topple machines, feel the resistance. Pineal gland activation, the wisdom of ages. Ancient manuscripts translated. Which way then? Salvation or damnation? The whole damn nation don't know they worship Satan. Society's been set, no crash course to corrode. And many have lost the battle cause their open mind's not closed. Investigate conspiracies, the mysteries of our time. Expand your mind, it's time to let your chakras align. If you seek peace, look inside and you shall find the unlimited possibilities of the body, soul, and mind. Frequent the continuum of space-time. Rewind and show up late, Babylon like Marty McFly.
The sins when jump for us all, and it's time to change our ways, and we'll let the execution is called. But I refuse to give up, I said like that. There's no stopping it now, it's time to step up to me down. Into these eyes, I'm free in this game. After centuries of slavery, it's time to find out what the chains. The winds are by, the measures we rise, and it's time to spread.
other's backs and saying, feed me. We're no longer living within the age of reason, but instead an age of war, lies, hatred, and treason. A world of false flag antics, sporadic, leaving alone people dead. It's no wonder nobody's trusting what the media says. They plan it for violence and want us to see red. And if we speak against corruption, get paid a visit by the feds. Enter the vortex in your cerebral cortex, and you can live a million years without ever having to take a breath.
Innocence been drawn for us all, and it's time to change our ways. Only way the execution is called, but I refuse to give up. I said my gun, there's something stopping it now. It's done, it's not done to me now. Into these eyes, I'll create this game. After centuries of slavery, it's time to finally break the chains. The birds are flying, from ashes we rise. It's time to spread our wisdom to blind and realize it.
The line in the sand's been drawn for us all, and it's time to change our ways. Or await the execution is called, but I refuse to give up. I'll stand my ground. There's no stopping it now. What's done is done, no turning round. Victory's ours, our freedom is gained. After centuries of slavery, it's time to finally break the chains. Like birds on fire, from ashes we rising. It's time to spread our wings and take flight on the horizon.
Take flight on the horizon, yeah. Like birds of fire. From the ashes we rise. See life through our third eye. How many more years are they gonna charge us for the things we need to survive? Food, water, energy. You can get that stuff for free if you really want it. Just think about it.
Innocence been drawn for us all, and it's time to change our